Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Ghost and today we are back on World of Warships Legends. Today we are back in the USS Texas, Tier 4 Premium American Battleship. This ship is like pretty old. It's been in the game forever. I think there's actually a Founders Edition version of the ship. That's how long it's been in the game. It's been in the game since the very beginning. So I thought I would come on here and play it, and I actually had a pretty interesting game in the Texas, to say the least. It was actually quite a bit of fun. I mean, I wouldn't say fun, but it was definitely an interesting game towards the end. We are in a Tier 5 game. We are up-tiered, and there is a carrier in the game. And if you guys know anything about the Texas, well, the Texas has very good AA for a Tier 4 ship. So we're going to have no problems just shooting down most of these planes that this enemy Surov sends towards us. And it's going to be pretty funny. So, anyway, yeah, Texas. Texas is a New York class battleship. It's the sister ship to the USS New York. The New York being the Tier 4 tech tree. And the Texas being obviously the premium version of the New York. Basically, to sum it up with the Texas is basically everything the New York is, but better. It has better AA, it's got better firing angles in terms of like when you're being aggressive, when you're going towards somebody. But when you're turning away from somebody, that's when the Texas struggles a little bit with the firing angles. Now the Texas, obviously, she has 14-inch, 356mm guns. On my build, they go out to like 16 kilometers nearly. Pretty damn good guns. Well, 14, 15 kilometers. You can get it up higher, it fluctuates depending on the map you're on. But overall, the Texas has good firepower. So long as you're not the center of attention, you can just continue to pump out these 14-inch guns. They can be very dangerous. Now, they struggle a little bit in Tier 5 games. And their accuracy is a bit questionable, like, obviously, since it's a Tier 4 ship. So the accuracy is just naturally going to be weird. Like, you guys will see a lot of these salvos that we take. I mean, look at that accuracy. Pretty bad, right? But occasionally, you do get surprised. These 14-inch guns, they weigh about the same as like a small car. And they can and they will absolutely obliterate people if people are not paying attention. And don't worry, there will be some salvos in this game where we do smack people. But throughout the game, it's more going to be me just sailing around being slow. Because if you know anything about the New Yorks, they are literal bathtubs. And they are slow as fuck. That's basically to sum that up right there for the speed. They're bathtubs, they can't turn very well, and they're slow. But if you can manage to learn how to position yourself and basically think out ahead, then you shouldn't have a big of a problem, like that big of a problem. Like, basically, in any American dreadnought, you want to be thinking about where you're going to be going like 5 minutes ahead of time. Because this ship takes about, I don't know, a day or two to get there. So, you really do not want to be... yeah, you just want to be in a position to where you can cover all sides of the map and basically turn over and help each side of the map. Like, I'm moving my way towards the middle, kinda, so that way I can support the Charlie side and I can support the Alpha side. So if I need to quickly turn one way, I can go over, and the other, I can go the other way, right? Now, if I was in a faster battleship, which I'm not, but if I was, then I wouldn't really need to worry about it. I would just be playing on one of the flanks, and if I quickly needed to relocate, I could probably do that. But the problem with the dreadnoughts is relocating and repositioning is very difficult because of how slow they are. They take forever to reposition. So you really want, again, you want to be thinking out ahead in these things. But if you're in good spots and you get broadsides, this ship has no problem punishing them, so long as RNG isn't screwing you. And in this game, RNG did screw me quite a bit, like, throughout the whole game. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's battleships for you. At the end of the day, RNG beat RNG, right? Now, while we're just sailing around, shooting our guns, having a good time, I will go over a little bit of the history of the USS Texas, as it does have pretty awesome history. The USS Texas was a 27,000-ton New York-class battleship built at Newport News, Virginia shipyard. She was commissioned in 1914. In May, she steamed to Veracruz to support the occupation of the Mexican city. So, yeah, she basically went out there to occupy Veracruz. Pretty cool. Yeah, because, you know, Americans, we love occupying shit, we love taking people over. Anyway, a regular operation with the Atlantic Fleet began in the mid-year and continued to January of 1918. The battleship then crossed the ocean to join the Grand Fleet in the North Sea, where she remained to the end of the First World War. Texas returned to the United States in late December 1918 and again took up her duties with the Atlantic Fleet. So basically, throughout World War I, the USS Texas was just going around, visiting cities, occupying cities, really not doing a whole lot. She was just sailing around, playing Sailing Simulator, not really doing a whole lot during World War I. Now, the USS Texas was reassigned to the Pacific Fleet in mid-1919 and redesignated as BB-35 in 1920. USS Texas came back to the Atlantic in 1924 when she again visited Europe on a training cruise. Again, just sailing around, training cruises, you know, nothing special. The ship received new oil-fired boilers and many improvements to her combat systems in a major modernization that began in 1925. With her appearance transformed, the Texas operations alternated between the Atlantic and the Pacific until 1931, when her base was shifted to California. For the next 6 years, she served as a fleet and division flagship during regular U.S. fleet exercises. Texas briefly revisited the Atlantic in 1936 and was sent back to that ocean in 1937 for service that would last until late 1944. 1944 being the year of the D-Day landings, which will come up shortly. I will talk about that because, well, it was pretty badass of what she did during that day, during D-Day. So, during 1937 to 1939, Texas kept busy training the Navy's officers and men. When the Second World War began in September of 1939, she joined other Atlantic squadron ships in maintaining a neutrality patrol, an activity that became increasingly warlike when the U.S. Navy began convoying Western Atlantic shipping in 1941. So basically before 1941, obviously we all know that the United States of America was not directly involved in World War II. We only got involved when the Japanese bombed us at Pearl Harbor. And that was a decision they quickly came to regret as, you know, touching America's boats never works out, and we dropped the sun on them like it was nothing. The next year, with the nation now formally at war, aka the Japs bombed us at Pearl Harbor, Texas escorted troops and supplies to Panama, West Africa, and the British Isles. A change in mission took place in October and November in 1942, when she provided heavy gunfire support during the invasion of North Africa. Texas continued her Atlantic convoy escort duties through 1943 and beyond. In April of 1944, she began preparations for the Normandy landings, which began on June 6, 1944, with Texas 14-inch guns and 5-inch guns firing on German positions ashore for several days. On June 25th, she participated in a bombardment of Cherbourg, France, during which she was hit twice by German coastal artillery fire. Her heavy guns were again effective and active in August of 1944, this time in the Mediterranean Sea, in support of landings in southern France. Now, during the landings at D-Day, the USS Texas laid down absolutely devastating fire by obviously hitting a lot of the bunkers, but also to fire deeper inland. The Texas flooded on purpose. The crew of the Texas flooded one of the sides of the ships to intentionally list the ship so that way the guns could elevate higher and shoot deeper inland. I'm not even joking. They literally purposefully flooded the Texas so that way it would list, and so that way the guns could fire higher. So the deck could be basically at a higher angle so the guns could shoot further inland. This ship was doing all sorts of shit, and it was pretty freaking badass. Now, after an overhaul, after D-Day and all that, after an overhaul, Texas went to the Pacific, arriving in the war zone in time to take part in the February 1945 Iwo Jima invasion. That's right, she was not only in the Atlantic theater, but she was relocated over to the Pacific theater to help out in the Iwo Jima invasion in 1945. From late March to late May of 1945, she operated off Okinawa, firing her guns against Japanese positions and helping to fight off suicide plane attacks. Texas was preparing for the invasion of Japan when the war ended in August of 1945, aka when we dropped the frickin' sun on the Japanese. She left the Western Pacific in late September and spent the next 3 months transporting veterans home, returning to the Atlantic coast in February of 1946. Texas was inactive until April of 1948 when she was placed out of commission and turned over to the state of Texas. She has been maintained as a memorial at San Jacinto ever since, and now today you guys can see her. She's a museum ship. I think she's still going through her dry dock process and whatnot. I don't actually know. I have not been keeping up on the USS Texas's sort of history with its maintenance. If you guys didn't know, the Texas is still around today, and you can still see her. But lately she's been doing all sorts of repairs and whatnot. So pretty damn badass indeed. And yeah, let's turn our attention over to the gameplay. So far, as you guys can see, this game has been an absolute nail-biter. Like, this game has been very, very close. Now, I thought my guns were gonna finish that Acasta. And, of course, RNG was like, nah, bro, your front guns are not gonna be able to finish the Acasta. You gotta get all your guns involved. I was like, okay, bro, I see how it is, game. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. So we're trying to close the distance, and hopefully we can finish him off. But he's smoking up, and, well, I probably know there's torpedoes coming, so I'm turning in to hopefully dodge any incoming torpedoes. Now, we did just get our clear sky, since we broke 30 planes shot down. So there you go. Again, Texas AA showing off, as it always does. Very, very good AA right there. You do not want to be attacking a Texas in any carriers. It's usually not going to go out very well for you. But we did get the blind fire kill on that Acasta. I was not going to let that dude fucking just sit there. I was going to be like, nah, bro, I'm going to blind fire your ass. I'm going to get you out of here. And that's exactly what I did. I blind fired him like no problem. And he's gone. That's our second kill of the game. And we are now going to hopefully be able to finish off this Moltke. Oh, wait, never mind. The Wesser, the carrier, friendly carrier, finishes him off. And notice that the points, guys, the points are very, very not in our favor. There's only 2 minutes left in the game. 2 minutes left. 300 points needed to basically surpass the enemy. Well, actually, well over 300 points needed to surpass the enemy. So really, there's no other way of winning except by killing these motherfuckers. That's basically the only way we're going to win. Now, I get the front guns off here on this Surov. Very nice, flat accuracy, and down he goes. That's a Citadel. That's our third kill of the game, bringing us up to 84,000 damage. So far, so good, and the carrier comes in again and gets the final kill on that battleship in the corner of the map, finishing the game, giving us a win. That was a very, very close win, but a win nonetheless. 27, basically 2,800 base XP in a Tier 4, in a Tier 5 lobby. Not too bad at all. Texas is still quite good if you know what you're doing, and again, if you get the right circumstances to occur. I do quite like my Texas. It's a great ship. 6 years later, I think it's still good. If you guys are looking for a good premium American battleship at Tier 4, you can't go wrong with the Texas. Now for the commander, we got Andrew Cunningham, Otto Ciliax as inspirations, built to last, flammable cannoneer, gyrating drill bits, marksmanship, reaching out XXL, and fight fire with fire. My William Sims is a level 16, legendary 4 captain, and nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, that is the USS Texas, in her might and glory, still good 6 years later. What a ship. Great time this thing is, usually, unless you get, again, horrible situations to occur, and RNG is screwing you. But if it isn't, it's a good time. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.